Hello and welcome to On the Break. I'm John alongside Mike again for your NFL Week 3 recap. Here we are today.
How's everybody doing?
How's everyone doing? First off, Mike, how you doing? Let's go.
McCooch, some days you just got to keep your head up.
Yeah.
I guess. I mean, I can't really be necessarily extremely mad, but last night it kind of went from a 10 to 11, but then I brought it right back down to a 2. So honestly, right now I'm okay. But yesterday I was kind of screaming into a pillow.
Yes, I expected that. We'll get into why. It starts with an E and ends with an S, and they fly really high, but we'll see what happens. But first off with Week 3, really quickly, we talked very high of the Jaguars, more Gardner Minshew. And on Thursday night, they absolutely laid an egg. They stunk. They did not play well. The only person that played well was James Robinson, and I was happy about that. James Robinson pulling up with 30 fantasy points.
Exactly. For my standard league, 25 points. Minshew was the reason why I lost, but that's okay.
But hey, we're chilling. Maybe don't listen to us for fantasy advice. We're not, if you got any bets, do the opposite of what we say. I think that's a good way of making some good money.
Honestly, at least for this season, at least for this year, McCooch is right spot on. Our predictions are extremely off at this point.
Oh, I mean, it just started, but it's not a good start. It's not a good start for the predictions. But the Jaguars, they did not play well. Gardner Minshew didn't play well. The Dolphins didn't even play that well. They just played against the Jaguars who weren't. It was a bad Thursday night game. I was not having fun watching that thing.
Not very impressed.
No. I think I was watching more hockey that night or something. I don't know. It just wasn't fun. But we'll get into something a little fun, though. The Bears and the Falcons, it finally happened. Mitchell Trubisky was benched for being a bad quarterback. The Bears organization finally said, hey, we took this guy over Mahomes and Watson. We should probably forget about that and move on from him. He's bad at football. Obviously, if you put me on the field, I would be a lot worse. But Mr. Trubisky, not far off from what a lot of guys, in the XFL we're doing. He's not a good quarterback. Nick Foles is a Super Bowl champion. It's been crazy that a Super Bowl MVP has been riding the bench for so long. And now, finally, Nick Foles has his spot in Chicago. He got subbed in, led a comeback against the Atlanta Falcons. Yeah, you've heard that story before with the Atlanta Falcons. I mean, they blew a lead. They didn't run the ball. What else can you say? Dan Quinn needs to be absolutely fired. He stinks. But
Dan Quinn's play calling. Dan Quinn's play calling, my man, it has been it needs to be called to question. His play calling has been absolutely atrocious. It's been horrible. And the fact that you have such a high power offense right at your helm, even if you have Julio out, which of course can be a factor, but at the same time too, when you're ahead against the Bears defense, who is actually who can be very, very good, and you have receivers such as you got Hayden Hurst as receiver, you also got Russell Gage, who underperformed sadly, and also you got Calvin Ridley, who has been absolutely lights out. Yeah. And also you got freaking Todd Gurley at your helm too, and Matty Ice right there. How could you not put this game away? And also, too, it falls to the Falcons' defense, but it comes all down to the coaching at one point, and it's all about Dan Quinn. Just 2 back-to-back blown leads in consecutive weeks. I don't know what to say about that, McCooch, honestly. And I know everybody's going to come at me in the comments going like, oh, your boy Nick Foles greater than Wentz. Let me tell you something about Nick Foles.
Okay.
Benched last year for Minshew, and now could he even beat out Mitchell Trubisky in camp? And all of a sudden, would a comeback win against the Falcons, which is still pretty admirable that they were able to come back from such a deficit. And now all of a sudden he's back to starting again. I don't think that Nick Foles is going to get back to what he used to be, definitely to his playoff form in 2017, from what I've seen. But I think he'll still be serviceable. Still think he's a game manager. Still think he will be for the rest of his career, sadly.
Yeah.
Nothing special, not extremely athletic, doesn't have the strongest arm in the world, but in a system that's built well for him, especially in a RPO heavy offense, I think he will do well. So honestly, do I think he's gonna be anything special? A top 10, all of a sudden top 15 quarterback? Hell's gonna know. But if Matt Nagy figures out how to structure this offense around him, I think the Bears might have some good success. And honestly, with the way the Vikings are playing right now, and how everybody else in the NFC is playing, I think they could contend for a wild card.
Yeah, I think the wild card is definitely there. I think the Packers are going to absolutely run away with this division, especially with
Oh,
the way the Vikings are
no
playing.
kidding.
I
No
mean,
way.
but the thing
Yeah,
about the Bears, I mean, their leading rusher was Mitchell Trubisky. He didn't even play for the entire game.
exactly.
Tariq
Yeah, Mitchell
Cohen tore his
Trubisky is just
ACL.
that's
I
so
mean, yeah,
unfortunate. Yeah,
yeah,
David
I love him.
Montgomery. Yeah, but David Montgomery, like, I really hope for the best, but Montgomery is just not something to blow your socks off. He's not. He's
Yeah,
not. He's not really anything special from what I've seen, honestly.
yeah, no.
And Mitchell Trubisky, like, just at this point in his career, he just needs to be back up, never
Yeah,
start again. He
he
is
wouldn't be a
just
bad backup. I would be perfectly fine with having
I
Mitchell
don't
Trubisky as a
think
backup
so
on my
either.
team.
Definitely, yeah, definitely as a backup, definitely somebody serviceable. Maybe in a way to mentor, well, given his experience,
Yeah,
not
yeah.
not his decision making, but his
No,
experience.
understanding an
No
offense.
doubt, yeah, of course, understanding an offense and definitely trying to adapt to a West Coast offense like Matt Nagy's offense. But to start and to lead a team to the playoffs, no.
Yeah,
I don't think any team at this point. I hope he stays with the Bears for a while because I don't think any team right now will be desperate enough to take Mitchell Trubisky in.
couldn't even tell you one. Could not even tell you one. But two
Nobody
teams
can.
that don't need quarterback help right now: the Los Angeles Rams with the worst logo in the NFL, and the Buffalo Bills. That was a great game. I was keeping tabs on this
One
game for the
hell of a
sole purpose
game.
of Josh Allen for my fantasy team, of course, and
John
that's what we
Brown
had. John
disappointed, got
Brown,
hurt.
yeah, and then but
Oh my
Josh Allen,
goodness.
they were up 28-3. The fabled 28-3. It's the worst score to have in football, apparently. We've seen it in college too. That's an easily blown lead. And then
Yes,
the
sir.
final score of this game was 35-32 in favor of the Buffalo Bills. The Rams almost won this game. And it was just it was a shootout once you got to like the second half, but Josh Allen, standout performance. 4 touchdowns, only 1 interception, 311 yards off 24 of 33 completions. And,
I can't.
Singletary to this thing. Cole Beasley hit 100 yards this game. The
I
Bills
was
offense played really
surprised
well.
about that. Very
Yeah.
surprised about that.
Bills offense played really well. What do you think about this game? I mean, it's interesting to see where Buffalo's going to go. They're 3-0. They are 3-0.
As I said last season to everybody I talked about football, I said the Bills are going to easily run away with this division, and the Bills are for real. Defensively wise and offensive. Of course, the defense struggled in the second half, but they are for real. Josh Allen is legitimately playing like an MVP candidate. There's nothing else you can say. He is playing absolutely amazing. I mean, of course, some of his decision making started to come back to life, but the way he started off this game and the way he just fired up on all cylinders in the beginning of this game is absolutely phenomenal. And of course, I'm still mad about the homie John Brown. Love that guy. Always producer on fantasy team, except this week. 0 points for me. Very sad about that. But speaking of quarterbacks too, Jared Goff is not having a bad season either. Definitely nowhere as good as Josh Allen or Russell
No.
Wilson caliber, but he's having a decent season. Like Cooper Kupp went over 100 yards. Robert Woods also had himself a great game. Darrell Henderson. Let's talk about him. This guy is not playing games. 114 yards, almost 6 yards a carry. What do you have to say about, especially too on the Bills defense? That is a great accomplishment right there. Good for him, and I really am excited to see what more he could bring to this Rams offense.
It's the Rams running back situation has been really weird. You have a bunch of inconsistency.
Exactly.
That's been the story with Darrell Henderson.
Malcolm Brown.
Malcolm Brown, and then Cam Akers you bring into the fold too. You have 3 good running backs. This is a running back by committee. It's Patriots style offense to me. I mean, Cooper Kupp equals Wes Welker and Julian Edelman. Everybody is trying to emulate what the Patriots are doing. You see it in a lot of teams, and the Rams are pulling it off right now. The 3 running back committee is something I talked about with Joel in like episode 3 of this show. Like, it is just running rampant. You have the Patriots still doing it. They're having success. Now the Rams are trying to do it, and they have 3 good running backs that can do it. Darrell Henderson, you have Malcolm Kelly, you got Cam Akers he just drafted.
Yeah, but Cam Akers also got hurt too. So but honestly, Henderson.
So was Darrell Henderson. That's the thing.
Exactly, but too, like the one that's really stood out this season is number 27 out of this running back committee. I really think that Darrell Henderson having a great season. Malcolm Brown, out of all the 3 running backs, I think honestly he's the most inconsistent. He didn't do much. Only got seven carries, 19 yards. Didn't do too much for the Rams offense. Kind of inefficient, but you're definitely right about that. The 3 running back committee definitely modeling what the Patriots have done in past years too. Definitely with Sony Michel, James White, and Rex Burkhead, like as they're doing right now. Maybe, honestly, the Rams are doing it better than the Patriots are right now because the Patriots' backfield is kind of lackluster at this point.
Yeah.
Not doing crazy. Cam Newton actually is leading the backfield in rushing yards.
He probably
But
has the most rushing
honestly,
attempts.
yeah,
I mean, he
exactly.
is. Yeah,
Yeah.
they're running the ball with him.
Yeah, but honestly, this was a great game, and I was very surprised to see that the Bills allowed this magnitude of a comeback. But props to them in a way for holding off the Rams, who have been on fire for the past few weeks.
Yeah,
Really,
Falcons.
really great game.
Take notes, Atlanta. Take notes, Dan Quinn. Sean McDermott is your guy. Fire
My
Dan
God.
Quinn. Steal somebody off the Bills staff and call it a day. I think that's a better idea.
Bills defensive corner, like Jesus Christ. This
Yeah.
Falcons defense is terrible.
Yeah, something. I mean, well, Dan Quinn's the defensive coordinator and the head coach. Huh?
Well, he's definitely not working this time. He's
It's
definitely
not.
the answer.
You give up 30 points to Chicago? I mean,
Exactly.
we've gotten into that. I mean, but it's just I got nothing for Atlanta. They're 0-3. Get them out of here.
I got nothing else either. Like the Falcons either got to get their stuff together or they're just going to keep on sinking.
They're gonna get swept by the Panthers at this rate. It's just bad. It's just so bad.
Yeah, watch. They're going to allow, like, at one point, Teddy Bridgewater to toss 2 touchdowns in the first quarter and in the fourth quarter run for the game-winning touchdown at this point and toss, like, 2.
Oh, no, he'll throw, like, 5 yards in the first half and then have, like, 400 yards and 6 touchdowns in the second half. When he's down, when they're down 30-5. It just doesn't make sense. But something else that did make sense. Well, you know what made sense? Russell Wilson winning the MVP at the end of this season. And I know you want to talk about them Cowboys. Russell Wilson put on a show, and everybody who enjoys, laughing at Dallas Cowboy fan pain, including Mike especially, he just there it is.
Cooch, how about
them Cowboys? I got one of my own. Doesn't fit in my head right now, but
Cooch,
here we are.
Great on you right now.
Thank you, sir. But the Cowboys, Dak Prescott had a good game. I'm not gonna lie, he had a good game. He threw 2 interceptions, one of them being a end of the game interception, but I'll tip my cap to Russell Wilson. He had 5 touchdowns. He's on pace. I saw a ridiculous stat. He's on pace for like 75 touchdowns and 7 interceptions if he keeps playing at this pace. Obviously, doubtful that he does that, but I mean, that was a great game by him. Tyler Lockett, shout out to him, 3 touchdowns for my boys, my team. All right, he had three of them touchdowns. Love that. But Mike, you're the Cowboy hater over here. You're the Philly fan. We're getting to them right after this. So get your happiness out now. What did you think about this game, man? How the Cowboys took this loss to the best team in the NFC?
As my friend Stephen A. Smith would say,
your
what
friend,
can go wrong will go wrong. The Dallas Cowboys, wah. As soon as they thought they would win and run away with the victory, Russell Wilson hands it to the team again. Russell Wilson is a man on a mission. My pick for MVP. And if anybody else thinks otherwise, they are very, very challenged when it comes to football. If they don't think that Russell Wilson deserves the MVP award this year, it is about darn time he wins this MVP. Yeah. And let me talk about those Cowboys. When you have that offense literally capable enough to tear apart the Seahawks secondary, as they could have. And Dak Prescott, you said that he had a good game. I'd like to think otherwise. I think he played okay. I didn't think he was
472 yards?
472 yards, but you got to take something into account too, McCooch. When you have Amari Cooper, a $100 million receiver at your disposal, Michael Gallup, who is turning out to be from last year, who was very inconsistent, turned out to be a great wide receiver number 2 for this team. You got you could honestly with Saquon out right now, you could say the best running back in the league, Zeke Elliott, at your disposal, and you got a great O-line to protect you and literally clear the pocket for you. Who wouldn't throw 472 yards with this offense? And also, too, those 2 interceptions. The second interception was horrible. He should have had 3. I don't know if you saw, but he threw a very lucky first down to Michael Gallup, where he literally threw it over the left side of the field. I think Trey Flowers tried to intercept it, bounced off his chest. Michael Gallup caught it in the air, ran for a first down. Dak Prescott should have put that game right in the bag right there. He should have probably could have been the second or third. Honestly, I think, and also he had a fumble too that game too. I still think that Dak isn't as special. I don't think he has the greatest arm in the world. I think that he has a great arsenal around him. Mike McCarthy is still, honestly, I say, very underrated coach.
Yep.
It's unfortunate what happened to him in Green Bay, but when you have an arsenal like that around them, Recruits, like what more can you expect? Like if you want to perform with that arsenal around you, then you're not a good quarterback. I'm not saying that Dak is a bad quarterback. I think he's good. I don't think he's elite. I don't think he's great. That's all I got to say. Amari, all I got to say is those names: Amari Cooper, Michael Gallup, and number 11 Wilson. He broke out yesterday too. He had a great game. And also, too, you got Zeke Elliott and that Cowboys O-line. What more? But one thing, though, I will say is the number one reason why the Cowboys lost yesterday. The second reason was Dak Prescott throwing that end zone interception when he could have maybe ran it out of bounds to get a little closer and stop the clock. Number one reason was that Cowboys secondary. My God.
Yeah.
Holy crap.
They're not good. That was my biggest criticism. That was going into this season. Their secondary is awful.
Allowed to lock it. And Metcalf, I don't know if he had 1 or 2 touchdowns. I don't recall.
He had 100 yards, though. He had 100 yards and 1 touchdown.
Yeah, he almost had another touchdown, but of course he pulled he was a little bit careless and he lost that football.
Yeah.
But, I mean, I just got to give props to this Seahawks offense, especially Russell Wilson. My God, this man carries the team on his back, and he will carry them deep into the playoffs, and he, in turn for that, will get his first MVP award. I am booking it.
You're booking it. You're booking the first MVP. I said Patrick Mahomes going into the beginning of this season. Now, the pace, I know it's not looking good, but I will stick with Patrick Mahomes until the end of this season.
Patrick Mahomes is very special. But who is not special like Russell Wilson, Patrick Mahomes? Dak Prescott.
No, I'd agree. I'm not very high on Dak Prescott. I think I just think he did a lot good. He did a lot good, but enough bad to lose the game. That's what I'll say.
Cowboys. When you think you will break the ceiling and exceed expectations, you come crashing down back to earth. They will always find a way to lose, and that's what they did yesterday. Cowboys fans, my condolences.
Your condolences to the Dallas Cowboys. I'll give mine as well.
And the worst defense. And the worst division in the National Football League. Our division sucks.
Speaking of that division, I will offer my condolences. Get that cowboy hat out of here. It is time for me to give you the floor yet again. The Philadelphia Eagles. I offer my condolences to you. I offer my praise to quarterback Joe Burrow, and I offer a proposal of Jalen Hurts to finally see some action. Now that we've gotten into this, the Philadelphia Eagles.
What sort of action?
Starting quarterback action. How about that? But we'll see. We'll see what happens. I want to just give you your space to let it all out about your Philadelphia Eagles tying our first tie of the season with the Cincinnati Bengals. Carson Wentz doing a lot good, I'll say. But I think he needs a wake-up call. That's what I think about the Jalen Hurts situation. You didn't draft him for him to be Taysom Hill. He's not fast enough. So what do you think about your Eagles? How'd you? I know you weren't able to watch the game, wasn't available, but you kept your tabs on it, saw the highlights. You already know. The Philadelphia Eagles punted the ball in overtime when they could have taken a 64-yard field goal. What do you think?
Well, McCooch, I'm wearing actually a Chick-fil-A shirt right now. And if I can give Doug Peterson a Chick-fil-A sandwich right now, I would say to him, you are what you eat. Doug Peterson is a chicken for what he did. Punting the ball on 4th and 12, when that could have been, I mean, of course, it's against the Bengals, and I'll get into that, but when you're down in overtime, you're 23-23 tied against the Cincinnati Bengals defense, who has not been good, and you're on 4th and 12 with less than 20 seconds left in overtime. Wouldn't it be the perfect redemption for this lackluster offense and a quarterback who I am absolutely shocked is playing the way he's playing right now to redeem themselves? Wouldn't you think that, McCooch? 4th and 12, convert, march their way down to the win. That would have been absolutely perfect for the Eagles to turn around this season. But what Doug Peterson did was show that he is scared. He does not trust his offense enough. And I don't blame him in a way. I do not trust that defense enough to give away that game, because the throws that Joe Burrow was throwing is absolutely unbelievable. Joe Burrow had a great game. And like you said, McCooch, I will give him props for that. Joe Burrow, over 300 yards, 2 touchdowns. But again, it's the Eagles secondary. Eagles nickel corner and Avonte Maddox is just so painfully average or just really bad. Tyler Boyd, slot receiver, over 100 yards, easy. over 12 and a half yards per reception. I
Big
really
time.
don't. I just really don't know what to say. And T. Higgins, who I barely heard of, 2 touchdowns on the day, and the only 2 touchdowns for the Cincinnati offense. I really went into this game thinking that, okay, I wouldn't think it would be too close, but I was predicting maybe Eagles get away 24-17, like a touchdown, like just one possession game victory for the Eagles, get their stuff back on track. But what it ends up to be is that one number away from 24, and also both of the teams got almost the same exact score, 23-23 to end the game. I can't believe Doug Peterson. At the beginning of the game, let me read you some stats too. Miles Sanders on 18 carries had 95 yards on the ground, over 5 yards a carry.
Yeah.
Why didn't he continue to feed that ball? He didn't need to feed it all the time to Miles Sanders. He has Corey Clement and Boston Scott to feed it off to also, who are also 2 are not terrible running backs. They're not that bad.
No.
And I understood too, at the end of the press conference, you did say that Miles Sanders was hurt a little bit, and he had to be limited a little bit also. Just give the ball to your running back too. Carson Wentz doesn't – the way Carson Wentz is playing, I wouldn't put everything in his hands 90% of the time. I would give maybe 60% of the snaps to him, but you got to give also some of that allotment to Miles Sanders and that running back committee, and especially with that Bengals D-line. The Bengals D-line was not playing well. I mean, Jason Peters is absolutely horrible. I really hope Doug Peterson escorts him on a wheelchair back to the Philadelphia nursery home. He is old, and I cannot stand Jason Peters coming back every single season and underperforming that $8 million a year. And I cannot believe that Lane Johnson gave him that money. I think Lane Johnson should break into his house and take that money back because Jason Peters does not deserve that money. I will put that money towards keeping him in a retire home for the next maybe 40 years so he never comes back to the Eagles.
Or paying a receiver?
I would love that. Yeah, Greg Ward, number 1 receiver. Woo.
Who used to be a quarterback.
And Deontay Burnett. Remember how I brought in one of those episodes with the weapons that Carson Wentz had last season? Well, decide that Deontay Burnett was like, oh, hey, Doug Peterson, I'm just going to take off my shift Saturday and Sunday at Walmart, and I'll come play for you guys. That's literally what he did. Caught 3 passes for 19 yards. Great receiver. John Hightower, 5th-round pick. 19 yards.
Yep.
J.J. Arcega-Whiteside. J.J. Arcega-Whiteside, get the hell off the team. You're absolutely the worst draft pick we made in the past 3 years. You are horrible. No catches at all. I don't think he even had a freaking target. I doubt it. Think that.
He's not getting any separation from anybody.
Deshaun, he has no sense of separation. He has no sense of fighting for the ball like he did in college. J.J. J-Jaw is the biggest disappointment at wide receiver I've seen. And he is even the bigger disappointment than Nelson Aguilar. He is even a bigger disappointment than him. J-Jaw is absolutely horrible. I'd say we just cut him right now because nobody's going to pick him up. I don't even know what's a reason to keep him on the active roster. He is absolutely horrible, underperforming. I absolutely hate that I have to see number 19 on my roster, on the Philadelphia Eagles roster. That is horrible. Darius Slay, my man, props to you. You played pretty well. You got hurt, kind of scary. Fletcher, the D-line had 8 sacks. Oh, my God. And the offense still couldn't do anything about it. And since I'm on defense, let me talk to, my best friend at linebacker, number 47, Nathan Gary. Please. Oh, my goodness. I don't know if you saw some of the tape. You know, a linebacker, when they're playing zone, when they're taking away the third wide receiver, when you have no threat underneath, you gotta back up into that zone and make sure the receiver right by the sideline is covered.
Yes.
He literally had 10 yards away from him and try to make it look like he was covering. Nathan Gary is absolutely terrible. This is the worst pass coverage linebacker I've ever seen in my life. He is horrible. Absolutely terrible. And I still don't know why Jim Schwartz wants to keep him on this team. He is horrible. I'd say we signed a linebacker. I don't know why we got rid of Zach Brown in the first place. He only had 4 freaking tackles, and he's supposed to be the main focal point of this linebacker group. He sucks. He is absolutely terrible.
Man.
Screw him. I do not like him at all. Zach Ertz. I mean, I can't really blame his stat line. 7 catches, 70 yards, okay. But also, too, when you have no threat on the outside, they're just going to take him away on the inside because that's all Carson Wentz is going to throw to anyways. I'll admit Carson Wentz didn't play too high, also because he had no weapons around him. Jalen Reagor, as you know, is out. Alshon Jeffrey is still out. I mean, Alshon Jeffrey probably won't boost the wide receiver core extremely quickly, but at the point where who we're playing right now, I think Alshon Jeffrey will be like adding like DeAndre Hopkins to this team at this point because they're just so terrible. I mean, Greg Ward isn't terrible, but like the draft picks we had, Quez Watkins is on IR, John Hightower caught under 20 yards. Like, I don't know what to say. And Jay John didn't even play. Like, this guy sucks. They suck. And
the
then
Eagles
Carson
suck.
Wentz. I know. I'm not even, Makuch, there's nothing. I'm not an Eagle fan. It's going like, oh, we're going to do good. No, I'm calling as is. The Eagles suck right now. They're terrible.
Yeah.
They're a horrible team. They're a bottom MC team. They're like a bottom two. Maybe you can even argue bottom one, but the Vikings and the Falcons are terrible. Terrible, even worse. But Carson Wentz, I saw flashes of him yesterday on how he can carry this team on back, running in for a game-tying score, which should have never happened in the first place, but running it in, eluding a lot of pressure, eluding a lot of sacks that Jason Peters could not pass block for his life, for his dear life, and nobody on the left side could have pass blocked for him. Carson Wentz obviously had some decision-making that a lot of throws that he definitely could have made. Missed a wide-open Sanders for a touchdown, definitely could have been with his speed. And Carson Wentz, first interception was tipped. Second one was kind of 50-50. Zach Ertz got out-muscled. Carson Wentz kind of faded too much to the left. What can you say? Easy passing touchdown before the half. But at this point with Carson Wentz, I think Doug Peterson needs to instill his confidence back into him because he is playing very unconfident right now. He's playing timid. I mean, yesterday, towards the end, he played very confident. He started using, when nobody was open on the outside, he started using his legs. I saw 2017 flashes, him eluding pressure, him running it himself out of bounds, being very safe with the ball. And if I'm not wrong, I think Carson Wentz only, well, no, he did have a fumble and it was recovered. Never mind. Scratch that. But I think this game is also on Doug Peterson big time. The fact that you punted on 4th and 12 could have instilled this confidence back into this team is absolutely horrible. This is a huge blow to morale, especially when you tie against the team with the #1 pick in last year's draft. That is absolutely embarrassing. That's even worse than losing to them. The fact that you have to tie with the Bengals, I can understand an upset like the Washington football team. But the fact that you tie with the Bengals just says you're equally as good as the Bengals. That is not impressive to say. And that is not playoff contender ready. And this team just looks nothing close. And yet today I saw that the Eagles, according to this ESPN or I think NFL.com, or Cynthia Frulin said that the Eagles were 7% playoff chance. I would give them a negative 0.0007000% chance. The Eagles are absolutely playing like garbage. And what you said about Jalen Hurts, you better take that back and leave this meeting because that is the worst thing I've ever heard. And I did hear about this too. I was watching ESPN First Take today, and I saw that Max Kellerman was saying trade Carson Wentz. And even Stephen A. Smith and Dan Orlovsky was saying that was the dumbest thing I've ever heard you say.
He said some dumb stuff.
Had a chance to, and I understand Max Kellerman has every right now to slander Carson Wentz because he is not playing well at all. I can't even. Yesterday I saw some good things, but there was more bad than good, honestly.
Yeah.
I don't think if Jalen Hurts was ready to take over for Wentz, like Foles took over Trubisky right now, he would have shown enough in camp. At the beginning of this year, get this, Jalen Hurts was put in the depth chart as the #3 quarterback. It was inactive for the first game. Nate Sudfeld was #2. Now he's starting to get put into active roster because I'm seeing they want to start using decoy players with him, which I don't mind to see. I was happy to see him finally take his first NFL touch. But do I think he's ready for the NFL level? No, I really don't.
No.
I think he'll do a lot with his legs, but as seen as his college years, he's a pretty mistake prone. I don't trust him necessarily yet. I need to see more from him in order to show that maybe he could take some snap. He took a snap at quarterback, obviously, but I want to see more from Jalen Hurts before I could jump the wagon and say we need to start him. I think it's really just too impulsive and too trigger happy to say that we need to start him over Wentz right now. You also got to take into account what would Hurts bring to the offense. Maybe he'll bring some juice, new life, a rookie, okay. But what else around him can also propel his team? Greg Ward? Do you think he'll propel his team?
No. Let me give you my thing. Here's my thing. I'm not saying start Jalen Hurts for the next 13 games.
Okay.
I'm saying if Carson Wentz is playing really bad like he was in the first half, you let Jalen Hurts play for four snaps because Carson Wentz knows he can't keep playing like this, obviously.
Oh, I don't think you're wrong.
I
think
don't
Carson
think
Wentz
Jalen
needs to
Hurts is a
keep playing.
starting quarterback in this league ever. I do not want to. I don't know why the Eagles drafted him at all. He was a fourth
I
rounder in
don't
my eyes.
understand either. I think honestly, they want maybe insurance just in case Carson Wentz goes down, maybe in the playoffs. But
There were
he's
better
not in.
options at the same time.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying. I don't understand. Obviously, Howard Roseman said that he wanted to use him as a Taysom Hill option, but like you said, he doesn't necessarily have every single tool that Taysom Hill would have.
Yeah, he's not that. He's not Taysom
Exactly.
Hill. Jalen Hurts is a quarterback, and I think he should be a quarterback coach. I think he's going to be a great head coach when his career is said and done. That's what I see Jalen Hurts as. He is one of the smartest players in the entire league at this moment when it comes to football. I will say that from what I've seen from him. But on the field, it's a different story. He is a coach, and I
Exactly.
think he's good to have for the Eagles. I think they drafted him way too high. They should have drafted a receiver, maybe another one.
Oh, they
But
definitely drafted him too
it
high.
was just enough. And what
Yeah.
else do you have about the Eagles, man? I know you're
I
going.
mean,
I know
I
it's tight.
honestly, I love to bring up the Jalen Hurts thing too, because this is also a lot of ignorant Eagles fans that say they want to start Jalen Hurts right now. Go like, start Jalen Hurts. Oh my God. Let me tell you something, Eagles fans. I'm going to say it right to your face.
Let's go.
Shut the bleep up, okay?
Bleep up.
I'm not going to say it on the show, but shut the bleep up.
Yeah.
Please. Please. Please.
That's for Twitter.
You are absolutely ridiculous if you think that right now. And like McCooch said, he is not, at least right now, he is not starter caliber ready at all. I really don't think. If he was put in right now, too much pressure, no weapons around them, I think Jalen Hurts will be absolutely awful. Even worse than Carson Wentz. I think it will be absolutely awful. Carson Wentz right now is playing bad. Hurts will play awful.
Yes.
Like, really bad. Really freaking bad. I just really think at this point, I think Jalen Hurts could definitely be used to add some spice to the offense. I think they need to use him. He's a second round pick, for crying out loud. You got to use your second round pick for some reason. At least for some reason. Look at J-Jaw. They're not using him. He's a third round pick. Drafted him extremely. They drafted him over Metcalf. And look at Metcalf right now.
That was
absolutely
bad.
Balling. And I
With the
will never
JJ.
forgive Howie Roseman for taking Metcalf over. for taking J-Jaw over Metcalf. But right now, definitely, Carson Wentz definitely needs to step his game up. Doug Peterson needs to go back into his playbook, really remember what he was in 2017, and remember what his quarterback is capable of. When Carson Wentz is really balling out, extremely healthy, last year, I would say he was a top 5 quarterback. Last year, not right now, nowhere close right now at all. And I would even say, I would agree with Cowboys fans at this point, not as forever. So Cowboys fans, calm down. Dak Prescott is playing better than Carson Wentz right now in this season, definitely, by far. But in talent-wise, I still think I will take Wentz over Dak. I would think Wentz is extremely capable of turning things around. I really think so. I still believe in Carson Wentz. From his 2017 season, I saw some flashes again, especially on that beautiful fade to Ertz. I thought that was a great momentum-changing play. Could have been, but of course we got the false start and everything. Matt Pryor sucks, but okay, we don't need to know. We don't need to go into that. But just in summary, Doug Peterson needs to look back at his play calling. He needs to go back to what he was. And a lot of people like to say that Frank Reich was the driving force behind Doug Peterson's play calling. If he doesn't change right now, Doug Peterson is going to exploit himself and show that, after all, he might just be a conservative play caller, as people might have said he was, because the way he's play calling right now is nothing resembling to what I've seen in 2017 or 2018 even.
No, Frank Reich was the reason that the Eagles did all that. Frank Reich is one of the best minds in football. You've seen him in Indy. They're doing that.
Frank Reich is a great coach, and I'm really happy. Props to him for what he's doing in Indy, right? Especially with a 40-plus-year-old Phillip Rivers. He's doing great with him. Yeah. I mean, of course, Phillip Rivers is still mistake-prone, getting old. But what they're doing right now, Indy is not half-bad team right now. They are getting up there. You know what I'm saying?
Sam Darnold saw ghosts again through 2 pick sixes. Xavier Rhodes had 2 interceptions. Sam Darnold, not very good at football.
Talking about Sam Darnold, I'll still back him up. I see a lot of potential in Darnold. I just think it's coaching. I just think that Adam Gase is
Yes.
absolutely horrible. And I will say it again. You need to go. Adam Gase, goodbye. You and Dan Quinn need to sit at a bar and cry after you lose your jobs after the season because
Yes.
you guys are absolutely terrible. You guys are the worst coaches right now in football.
They will both be career coordinators after this season. That is what I'm thinking.
I absolutely hate Adam Gase. The way he's bringing down Sam Darnold's career, it's absolutely it's so saddening because I've seen so many flashes from Sam Darnold, especially when I've talked with obviously our other commentator Nico, just talking to him and stuff, and just seeing these plays, and I'm just like, I can't lie. Sam Darnold has potential, and of course he's definitely gonna have these mistakes, but also at the end, everything that happens on the field also can be wired down to coaching, and Adam Gase is definitely somebody to blame for the past few seasons. Adam Gase is absolutely terrible.
Oh, he's not. I have went and said that so many times. Adam Gase is the worst coach I've ever seen in my life. I think he'll be a good coordinator. I'm not going to say he's not.
I think nobody can top Hugh Jackson, but Adam Gase is getting there right now. The way he's on, Adam Gase is getting there. But right now, he's absolutely the worst coach in football. Maybe in the past 5 years, I will give you that. Or actually 2 or 3 years, I would say he's the worst coach.
I mean, Hugh Jackson, Freddie Kitchens, and Adam Gase is just the three. We need a fourth horseman here. I mean, there's
Freddie Kitchens basically. Freddie Kitchens.
Not Freddie Kitchens. Not Freddie Kitchens. Ben McAdoo. I'm thinking of Ben McAdoo. That's what I was thinking. I'm gonna say Ben McAdoo. I like Freddie Kitchens. I like Freddie Kitchens. I know I didn't know Freddie Kitchens is bad too. No, Freddie Kitchens sucked too. There we go. Ben McAdoo, Freddie Kitchens, Adam Gase.
Hold on.
I'm thinking of Greg Williams. I'm getting my Browns coaches mixed up. They're all the same to me.
No. Yo, Freddie Kitchens, the way he manages his team, it's basically Freddie Kitchens basically you can invite all your friends over and Freddie to party at your house, have a house party at your party in high school.
Yeah.
And Freddie Kitchens is the type of guy to be crossed out of his mind.
Yes.
Drunk out of his mind as that drunk dad who'd be like, "Oh, you guys can use the house, have all the alcohol you want, goodbye."
Yeah.
Freddie Kitchens is basically that guy. He literally let anybody do what he wanted. He even let his players talk down to him. That's just not a way you can manage your team.
Yeah, you're just letting your players out coach you. And I will say, 3 of the coaches that we've named have all been Baker Mayfield's head coach. I mean, I know a lot of people hate on Baker Mayfield. I know I got a Browns hat on, an Oklahoma shirt on, but Baker Mayfield has just so many bad coaches.
I'm sorry, my boy, but also Baker Mayfield is not a talented quarterback. He
not
is by far.
Okay, that's a little much. That's a little much. I won't say he's great. He hasn't played that great, but he's got plenty of talent.
He
can't say he's not talented.
I just do not think he's a very talented quarterback. His 40-yard dash is horrible. He doesn't have a great arm at all. His pocket awareness is sometimes extremely questionable. His decision-making is even extremely questionable at times. He has all the weapons around in the Browns offense, even with the coach, too. It's like saying, also you could say that also the Cowboys offense had Jason Garrett last year, who's absolutely horrible as a head coach, but not bad as a coordinator.
Had a 12-4 season.
But also, too, Baker Mayfield, just with the weapons he has, too. Austin Hooper, Kareem Hunt, and Nick Chubb, probably the best two-headed running back in
they've been balling.
the league. Extremely amazing. Odell Beckham and Jarvis Landry on the outside for you. Baker Mayfield is just so painfully average and has been. And honestly, I don't think the Browns should have ever drafted him at number 1.
Well, obviously, I would have rather had Lamar Jackson if you're a Browns fan. I'm a Colts guy, but Lamar Jackson's better. Josh Allen's better right now. I'm not going to give you Sam Darnold. I won't give you Josh Rosen, but I didn't go into that draft thinking he'd be number 1.
Nobody's going to bring Josh Rosen up. Where even is he again? Who is he with again?
I think he's still in Miami, right?
Maybe. No, he got cut.
Practice squad, Buccaneers. Yes, he's on the Buccaneers now. He's on the practice squad for the Buccaneers. And he said there were 5. He said there were 12 mistakes ahead of him.
Now Josh Rosen, he had bad coaches. The way he just hopped from team to team, that's somebody who had horrible coaches.
Yeah, no, he just can never get settled.
Honestly, and who's the Browns coach right now? Greg Williams, if I'm not wrong. If the Browns still
Kevin Stefanski,
honestly, I'll give the Browns credit when it's due. Took down Washington football team, who has had a good defense too.
They're 2-1.
Not a great offense. Yep, 2-1. Not bad for the Browns. I'll give credit when it's due. Not bad. But if they do another second half collapse, second half of the season collapse, and Baker Mayfield underperforms, I really think that Browns should either look at a free agent quarterback to bring in, at least mentor or compete with Baker Mayfield, get his ass off the ground, or they need to look.
Well, they have Case Keenum.
But when was the last time you've seen Case Keenum do something good? against the Vikings championship game, he absolutely flopped.
Yeah.
Against my team, the Philadelphia Eagles, but I don't bring up the past because I'm not the Eagles fan. So you're like, 2017. But
I mean, if they can maybe get Justin Fields, I mean, I'm not against that for Cleveland. I think Baker Mayfield is, has not performed to a number one quarterback, but we'll see.
Exactly, that's exactly what I'm saying. Especially when you have that expectations on you, especially with the amount of weapons you have around you, and the Browns' offense has a lot of potential.
Yeah.
And if you underperform with that offense around you, and your defense not playing half bad as they were last season, the Browns got to compete. In this division, they have a chance to compete. The Bengals obviously are just not going to compete. But I know you got the Ravens and the Steelers. Steelers defense is absolutely amazing. Steel Curtain has returned.
Yes.
But I think the Browns have a chance to compete, especially with the roster. On paper, this Browns team should be a lot better, stat-wise too. Baker Mayfield should be better stat-wise too with the weapons he has right now.
I mean, here's the thing about the Browns. They're 2-1.
Yeah,
they play Dallas next week.
I'll give credit.
Baltimore is probably going to lose tonight against Kansas City. That's what I think.
That's going to be a fun game.
We'll go straight to that. We'll go straight to that. You have Pittsburgh. I think Pittsburgh's really great. You have a second wild card spot. The Browns are playing well. Baker Mayfield had his first game without an interception in 8 games. It's 3 weeks in. Yeah, congratulations to him. He only threw 23 passes. You have one of the better running games in all of football. The Browns
probably the best running game.
The Browns could win 10 games and still get they're not doing enough. They're not doing anything, but it's just they just got to keep winning. They got to keep winning.
I mean, there's also silver lining in this too. The Steelers, even with the defense they had last season, I don't think they didn't even make the playoffs. No. I think they have a chance. I still think they have a chance. I think that if the Browns continue playing solid, they could maybe even pull out with a 10-6 wild card.
That's what I think.
No,
and do you get rid of Baker Mayfield if you're 10-6?
Well, at that point, that's what I'm saying. I'm not saying if they underperform again, I think they need to look somewhere else. But if Baker Mayfield pulls out this season and gets into a wild card, I would say, okay, give credit when it's due. I think Baker Mayfield just earned himself another season or two in Cleveland. But like I said, if he underperforms again, not looking good. But speaking of people not looking good, the Houston Texans.
They sucked.
Deshaun Watson. I
mean, it was a one-score game.
I feel so sorry. I feel so sorry for Deshaun Watson.
He has no offensive line at all.
God help you. God, please help Deshaun Watson.
They lost to Pittsburgh 28-21. They just had to play the Ravens. They just had to play the Chiefs. It's the toughest 3-game stretch of anybody in football.
They have had a really tough.
They weren't able to pick them away.
But also too, the Texans weapons other than David Johnson, who has been playing pretty well. Not bad for the way.
And didn't even play that great. Randall Cobb had a touchdown. He was okay, but they didn't do anything.
This Texans receiver core is just like, I don't know why. Kenny Stills, Randall Cobb, Brandon Cooks, Will Fuller. How could you not at least garner some production from that wide receiver core? Like, come on, man.
I mean, it's not great.
It's not. I never said it's not elite.
They drop a lot of balls. That's my thing about that core.
Kenny Stills isn't the greatest one with hands. Kenny Stills is known for dropping
Even Will
balls.
Fuller is dropping balls.
I'm very surprised about that because I thought Will Fuller was a very underrated receiver, just somebody who gets hurt a lot and just can't stay.
He gets hurt a lot. Randall Cobb is older. They don't really have much.
Randall Cobb is a great rotational player. Brandon Cooks, I've always loved Brandon Cooks, but by just the amount of times he's getting traded and just hopping from team to team, over time they're going to decline. And honestly, Brandon Cooks is on decline. I hate to say it. I love Brandon Cooks. I think he could be a great receiver like he used to be, but he's on a decline, just like Randall Cobb. Randall Cobb, the age bug is biting him right now. He's a rotational receiver at this point, but he's just not a starter at this point. I just don't think so.
Here's my thing about the Texans have no offense. Deshaun Watson is putting that team on his back.
Their offensive line is absolutely horrible.
Can you name their starting tight end? I can't.
Darren Fells? I don't know where he is.
Is he still on that team? That's the thing. You can name some receivers, but their offensive line is absolutely nameless and awful, and they've been playing terrible.
Tunsil,
they had to give up two second-round picks for him.
I don't know why Bill O'Brien gave him a $50 million extension, but
they gave him that and 2 first-round picks to Miami.
But honestly, at this point, the way Larry Tunsil's playing, you can use that money to pay for a full body surgery on Deshaun Watson after this season because Deshaun Watson
Need a
literally
full body casket, a reconstruct of the body.
You know that
Getting
episode.
murdered.
You know that. We should put that for the thumbnail. You know that episode from SpongeBob where the guy was like
Yes.
all taped up and he was
I will
like,
put Deshaun Watson's face on that. There we go.
Please, because Deshaun Watson, that's how he's going to be after this season. He will literally be broken apart.
I said this last time. He is Andrew Luck in Indianapolis. They will get him an offensive line in 4 years, and he will be too beaten up to take advantage of it.
I'm going to be honest with you. As the way the Texans are, the way the Texans offense, the front office is so blind to this right now. I have to agree. You do bring up a good point right there. I think Deshaun Watson, if the Texas O-line, which honestly I hate to be negative, but I don't think they're gonna pick it up anytime soon with the way they're playing. But if they just continue to let Deshaun Watson literally get thrown around like a rag doll, like a little kid will throw a Woody doll across the floor, then I don't know what to say. By
eventually
20,
that doll's arm
I don't know
falls
how
off.
old Watson is right now. Is he like 25? He's still got a lot of years, but even before 30, he might be beaten up, or maybe he just
Luck retired at 29.
Exactly. If they don't act quick for a superstar QB, which last season Deshaun Watson was a top 5 QB. Right now, obviously, he's not playing up to par because of this offensive line. It's absolutely terrible.
Yeah.
But I feel bad. That's why I said, God help Deshaun Watson, because I feel so bad for him. He's just a waste of a just extremely talented kid right there.
If they had a worse let's say they had Case Keenum at quarterback, I think they have the number 1 pick in the draft. I think they're that bad. Besides Deshaun Watson, I mean, how many games do they win without Deshaun Watson? Realistically, anybody in that division, maybe they take a game against Jacksonville.
I'm going to be honest with you, dude. I don't know what to argue about that.
You can't argue it because there's no talent around him. You have J.J. Watt; he'll get hurt by week 7. You know, their secondary is much
the Texans' defense is terrible. Honestly, I think they're definitely. Honestly, I could say prediction right now. 6-10.
Yeah, I'm fine with that.
6-10, 7-9 at most.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see.
I don't know. This defense is absolutely horrible too. Surprisingly, I'm very surprised they didn't allow like 40 points yesterday.
Yeah,
but that's besides the point. Speaking of a defense that was supposed to. Speaking of a defense, Saints and Packers. What happened to the Saints defense that everybody hyped as the best defense in football?
37 points scored by Green Bay and Aaron Rodgers. They had a great game. Alvin Kamara was phenomenal in this game. Drew Brees has been doing what he's needed to do. He's not going to make all the great. I mean, he had 3 touchdowns. He only had 7 incompletions. He played pretty well. He had 3 touchdowns. The guy played a fine game. He's not going to be making the deep bomb throws like he did when he was 32, when he was winning Super Bowl, a Super Bowl. He only has 1.
Yeah, exactly.
He's officially never going to win MVP. I think that's decided. But the Saints are 1-2 at this point. I mean, they just had to play Green Bay. I think Green Bay is probably going to be the most underrated team in all of football. I think the NFC Championship is going to be Green Bay and Seattle. That's what I think. But it is. I mean, it was a fun game to watch. Both teams played pretty well offensively. The defenses, no, they didn't play that great. But I mean, Allen Lazard had a great game. The Packers did this without Devontae Adams. This is why I was fine. This is why I was fine with the Packers not drafting a receiver. Aaron Rodgers can make it work. And they have the O-line to protect him. The defense it's doable. What do you want them to do? They have a good running game now. They're running play action. They're winning games.
This is what I hate about people saying that Aaron Rodgers is the GOAT. First of all, he's not.
Correct.
He's not the GOAT. If he was a GOAT, he would be taking this team to multiple Super Bowls and multiple championship games, which he should have won.
I mean, there are multiple. He has been to multiple championship games, NFC championship games. He's been to a lot.
Exactly. You could say that. I mean, I'm not saying his playing style is similar, but it's basically a Donovan McNabb situation. Going 1 Super Bowl, of course he won it, but multiple NFC championship games only to miss it in the final minute.
Play-wise, yes. Play-wise, definitely not. Or other way around.
Exactly. That's what I said. Play-wise, they're definitely not similar. But like I said, career-wise, you could argue that it's somewhat similar to the script. But you can look at the sideline. Allen Lazard, everybody's saying, all the Green Bay fans, we have no receivers, boo-hoo, wham. Yeah. Allen Lazard, 6 catches, almost 150 yards and a touchdown. What? Mercedes Lewis, we haven't heard from him in a minute. A touchdown from him too.
I thought he retired. I mean, I knew he was on the Packers this
Exactly. I
year, but
haven't
he isn't
heard
that
from
much.
a
Got
while.
the Sternberger guy
Aaron
with 3
Jones, not
catches.
Aaron Jones, a productive running back.
Who would have thought?
4 yards to carry and a touchdown too. Aaron Rodgers has everything he needs. These are I would if even talking from Eagles fans has no receivers right now. I think Greg Ward. I would kill to have Alan Lazard on my team. I was thinking about the other day.
Yeah.
I would kill to have Scantling and Lazard on this team right
And
now.
they did this with a bad
Packers
game from Scantling.
exactly in the yeah,
No
exactly.
Devontae Adams.
Yeah, didn't Scantling only have like a one catch?
He had 1
this
catch of
whole
5
game?
yards.
Exactly. Aaron Rodgers has everything he needs. The reason why they have underperformed too is a little bit also because of Aaron Rodgers being a diva. But Aaron Rodgers, I will say, he is being a bad man right now. Aaron Rodgers is balling out right now.
Yeah.
There is no question to that.
He's balling.
Aaron Rodgers has everything he needs to succeed right now. He should be going at minimum to the divisional round. Or to
they're going to buy.
championship.
That's what I think. I think they're going to get a buy. So they will
They
get to the
have
divisional round.
they have every opportunity too. This defense, like you said, I wouldn't say it's doable. I think they do enough to keep their team in the game or give Aaron Rodgers the ball back. I don't think this defense is bad. Last season, they weren't that bad. The only reason why they were bad on defense, in a way, stat-wise, was because the run defense was atrocious. Everybody ran all over them, and which is why the 49ers won that championship game, is they just literally ran all over. Never forget Jimmy Garoppolo, 8 attempts.
8 attempts. But they won the game.
Drew Brees, that's what happens to every other aging quarterback. They're just going, like Tom Brady. He's a game manager at this point. Drew Brees, I hate to say, love the guy, but he's slowly becoming a game manager.
He's been a game manager for the past 2 years, in my opinion.
Exactly. He's becoming one, and you could say right now he is.
He's a pretty great game manager, I'll say that.
Exactly.
But he's not going to throw you out of a game. He's not going to throw you. He's not going to take you out of a game, but he's not going to play back.
And also, anytime in his career, nobody ever said he had the best arm in the league either.
No.
He was just a great quarterback, great leader, very accurate.
He's the most accurate quarterback in history of the National Football League.
Very accurate, great decision maker, doesn't turn the ball over. That was Drew Brees' whole career. Great quarterback and one of the best quarterbacks to ever play the game. Alvin Kamara, my man.
13 catches.
Out.
13 catches, 39 yards, 2 touchdowns. That one long touchdown he had, that was great.
Alvin Kamara put on a show, my man. Emmanuel Sanders did not play too bad either. 14 yards of reception and a touchdown. And under 60 yards. Not that bad. Not bad for Emmanuel Sanders, who was also aging also. Yeah. Traquan Smith, okay. I wasn't high on him. Jared Cook, that's a tight end that's not been playing hasn't been as big time as people said they would this season.
I mean, it's week 3. He's got plenty of time to be good again. But
a lot of these teams need to also realize you're only into week 3 of the season. If you're playing poorly also halfway through the season, I would be panic mode.
Yes.
But right now, it's 3 weeks into the season. I'm not extremely scared. Let's say if the Eagles lose to the Giants, I will be extremely in panic mode, or I'll be like,
that's when you hit the button.
It's done.
If you lose to the Giants, it's when you hit the button.
Yeah, and also too, Taysom Hill wasn't even used like crazy last
I think he had a catch.
They almost won. Yeah. Two carries and a catch. That's all he had.
The Taysom system idea, a Taysom Hill system, it's not proven to work, which is why I was saying I don't get why the Eagles drafted Jalen Hurts.
And also too, the Packers also almost had 370 yards, and the freaking Saints offense almost had 400 total yards too.
Yeah.
This was a winnable game for the Saints. Obviously, the Packers at the end, they honestly had the better offense, and they were better prepared and just a better game plan. Matt LaFleur was turning out to be a great coach.
I was always high on him. I love what he's doing with that offense.
Matt LaFleur is a great coach. I really like him. I really like what he's doing in Green Bay right now.
Yeah.
But to all Green Bay fans that's saying they have 0 weapons, and that's the reason why Aaron Rodgers is not performing the way he should be quiet. You have everything at your disposal right now. Devontae Adams is like a top 5 receiver. There's nothing to say. Devontae Adams is the best route runner in the league right now.
Yep.
Devontae Adams is absolutely phenomenal.
Route running wise, him and Keenan Allen. That's what I think. Him, Keenan Allen, Michael Thomas. Just pure route running.
Well, if you want to talk Michael Thomas running slants all day.
I mean, he's great at it. He's great at running slants. I love the way he runs slants.
But Devontae Adams, and you got Lazard, who is for the past few weeks has been playing some really good football. Aaron Jones is playing great.
Yeah, and this team was supposed to have Devin Funchess too. I'll say that, but he opted out of the season. Now, here's the thing. I like what they're doing. It was a great game, but a better game tonight. It'll probably be just about to start at this moment, or maybe even in progress. But the Chiefs and the Ravens, we're going to get into it for a little bit, and then we're going to end this thing. The 2 best coaches in all of football, in my opinion. That's what I think. You have John Harbaugh going against Andy Reid in a game I think will be the AFC Championship game. Baltimore's defense has been absolutely outstanding. Kansas City hasn't really played as great as you'd expect. They didn't play a good game against the Chargers.
I mean,
Patrick
if
Mahomes
you have
hasn't
to kick your game-winning field against the Chargers, Dan, I don't know what
Yeah.
you're doing.
They didn't have a good start. I mean, they just have not been playing as good. Baltimore's hot. I think that Baltimore will take this game. I don't know. Baltimore's going to go like 15-1 this year. That's what I think. But their defense is insane. Their defensive line is so tall. If you play against a short quarterback, you're not losing the game. You're going to get a lot of tips. Calais Campbell is like 6'7". Their defense is great. Lamar Jackson is the second best quarterback in football, in my opinion. But you have Hollywood Brown. You have a decent running game. J.K. Dobbins, Mark Ingram, Mark Andrews. Please put up 25 fantasy points tonight. I need it. But what do you think about this game? I think it's going to be good.
I think it's going to be good, and this is probably one of the toughest games to call because Patrick Mahomes is better than Lamar Jackson in talent-wise,
Yes.
no doubt. And I'll have to hate to disagree with you, but Lamar Jackson is a top. Okay, you could say maybe he's a top 5 right now,
Top
but
3.
I would not say he's better than either Mahomes or Russell Wilson. Far from that, actually.
Playing better right now. I think Patrick Mahomes is the most talented player in the entire National Football League, but based off how they're playing, it's Russell, it's Mahomes, Jackson. Or based off pure talent, Mahomes, Jackson, Wilson. That's what I think.
You could say that, yeah.
But it's the reverse for how they're playing.
But it's really tough to call. Mahomes is known to dice great defenses apart. Look what they did to the 49ers in the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Diced them apart in the second half.
And the Ravens are known to fold under great teams under pressure.
That's what I'm saying. I don't think that that's why I've never been extremely high on Lamar. He folds under pressure extremely easily. He folded against the freaking Titans in the playoffs last year when they had the number 1 seed in the entire conference. That's absolutely embarrassing.
It was.
To fold against the Titans defense. The way Lamar played, he played awful. He didn't even play like an MVP.
No, I didn't. He threw the ball a ton of times that game. I mean, it was bad.
Yeah, and also too, it was just not great, you know.
Yeah.
But it's a tough game. The Chiefs' defense, they definitely need to step it up, or else they're going to absolutely get crushed by this high-flying Ravens offense. The Ravens offense can definitely dice them up, especially on the ground, as you know. Mahomes is known to dice them up, but I think this is going to be an extremely close game, down to the wire. I don't think they're going to put as many points. I think both teams score under 30.
Yeah, no, I'd agree. At the under.
I think 28-27.
In favor of.
And you're going to hate me when I say this, but I think Mahomes pulls the game-winning touchdown.
I'm fine with that. I like the Chiefs better.
I just really like Patrick Mahomes was the MVP 2 years ago for a reason. I think under the Sunday Night Football lights, I think Lamar Jackson could be susceptible to folding under pressure. And honestly, their receivers are nothing to go crazy about. Of course, you got Hollywood Brown, but has he been an elite receiver? No, he has not. You still got a lot of weapons around you too. You got a run game that you could definitely do, but the Chiefs' running defense has not been terrible. They have not been that bad, especially compared to last season.
Yeah, no, they haven't been bad. I mean, Hollywood Brown is yet to have a touchdown. I think he gets one tonight.
Hollywood Brown could definitely get a touchdown. He's definitely on par to get a touchdown tonight. But
you got Mark Andrews.
I think this is going to be extremely close. But if Lamar Jackson wins tonight, in every primetime game, I'm going to pick the Ravens from now on if he wins tonight. But just from what I've seen from Lamar Jackson do under pressure, I think this is going to be extremely close. But I think Mahomes has what he can take, and the weapons around him. He has what it takes to take down this Ravens defense in an extremely nail-biting conclusion. I think that Travis Kelce gets the game-winning touchdown.
Travis Kelce, game-winning touchdown, back of the end zone
against Chuck Clark.
Against Chuck Clark, some Dwight Clark-esque things if you've ever seen The Catch, but I mean, it could go either way. Obviously, this is why
that's what I'm saying.
A Monday night. That's why it's a Monday night game.
You could say Ravens 28-27 or Chiefs 27, but I just love Mahomes. I still think he's better than Jackson, especially when it comes to under pressure, especially under lights like this. I think Lamar is very susceptible to folding under pressure. I think Lamar has a decent game. I think he fumbles once tonight.
Probably. He'll probably fumble.
I think that might be the crucial one. I don't think he throws any interceptions. I think he tosses for 2 touchdowns, I think, in the red zone. and they're able
FanDuel
to run
guys
for
take
maybe a
notes.
touchdown.
Yeah.
I think that's a fair prediction for him. But like I said, I think Mahomes has what it takes to bring his team back from behind. I think the Chiefs will play from behind in the fourth quarter, and I think the Chiefs can take this away with a win.
I'm going to go
Travis
Baltimore.
Kelce touchdown.
I'm going to go Baltimore.
Kansas City, bro.
I'm going to go 30-14. I think Baltimore takes this one handily, but I think when it comes down to the AFC Championship game, Kansas City takes that one pretty handily. The loser of this game is going to win the AFC. I thought it's a weird idea.
That is honestly very. That's
but the loser of this game is going to win the AFC because you're not going to beat the same team twice.
Most definitely, man.
But I have a weird feeling about these Ravens. They just have this it factor to them that is coming out, and they are confident, and I like them a lot. I'm going to pick Baltimore. What else do you have to add about this episode so far?
I think we're going to wrap up, Macruch. I think this is great.
I think we are. We'll see if Baltimore and Kansas City win. Don't question the thumbnails about Deshaun Watson. Probably getting injured pretty soon. Not his fault. The offensive line is bad, but this was a fun time. A long one, but it was a fun time. Thank you for letting loose about your Eagles. Happy to give you a platform to do so. I am John, alongside Mike. Thank you for coming on the show. We are on the break. Thank you for watching. Next thing, we're going to be talking about baseball, so stay tuned for that. And again, thank you for watching.